Cush approached Yael. Why is it you did not help me? Yael stood up. My job is to teach and help when commanded. I taught Wanyenyekevu, and he has taught you and your people all so well. By the way, you are just as good as he was. The only thing, pain consumed him on his first kill. Yael looked over toward Mammalean, shaking his head with approval as Mammalean inspected the dead men. It's time for your enlightenment. There's so much I need to tell ya, when you do get enlightened. Turning to Cush, she smiled, oh. And remind me not to call you a child. Yael smiled, and then he just vanished. Cush did not think about it until Yael had mentioned it. It was indeed his first kill, and he stood there in shock as Mammalean rushed towards him. Cush! Cush! He saw he was indeed covered in blood. He stood there for a moment. I took someone's life away from them. Mammalean was in deep thought. I hear tell it, but I think that's the first time I have, or anyone, as far as I'm concerned, has ever truly seen Yael smile. Pulling the star from the man's head. Besides that, son, have your father ever told you, it's kill or be killed? I might be your first kill, but it definitely won't be your last. Now come on here, let's go. Mammalean examined the bodies of the dead men again, and noticed the suits they were wearing. It makes sense, all this water around these parts. The men are hiding in the lakes and rivers. They quickly returned to the wagon, said their goodbyes to Donatella, made a few stops to report what they saw, and were escorted by a group of warriors as they headed back to Tallulah. Sorry, you weren't able to see your little friend, but as you see, things have changed for the worst, Mammalean said as they headed back home. Cush smiled, it's okay. They reached Tallulah later that night, and were approached by Valley. Cush and Mammalean got out of the wagon, and Cush turned and handed Mammalean the samurai, shaking her head. No, it belongs to you anyways, kinda neat, huh? Cush said. It's an inch or so too long. Mammalean said, oh, I'm sorry, son, I thought you knew, pass it to me. Passing her the samurai, she said. This belonged to your grandfather. When we became known as Mestizos, we had our difference. I think it was a conversation between Aldhib and Wanyenyekevu, because it sounds like something Aldhib would have said. You see, Anacatis love their meat raw and shit, they call it rare, and Wanyenyekevu and most Wakatilians wanted our meat double killed as they called it. Cush interrupted, double killed, what's that? Mammalean laughed, Wakatilians are used to our meat being well done, and they came here cooking raw-ass meat. Aldhib asked Wanyenyekevu, what do you want me to do, kill it twice? Wanyenyekevu said, hell yeah, kill that bitch twice. Hence, double kill. Mammalean laughed. Anyways, not too long after that, he created these swords for the people started to customize their weapons and clothing to fit them. Now, look. She twisted the handle, a smaller blade appeared from the chamber. This was the design that Wanyenyekevu had, and all blades are made like this. Now, each family put their own little twist on them when they came to Tallulah. Some wanted lighter weight blades, and some wanted stronger metals, but they were all basically the same. Plus, this one here has the blood of Mshika on it. It can kill any so-called Abenian with one thrust. You don't have to penetrate it through their body, just a simple touch, and they are gone for good, in a puff of smoke that smells like death itself. Cush said, I didn't know Mshika's blood was on it. I heard about these samurai, but never seen one. Mammalean smiled, if it's old, most of them do, around here. As she touched her san, she turned to Cush, okay now, come by first thing in the morning, and we will get you those stories you wanted, but for now, Mammalean got to rest these old bones of mine. Cush smiled, you mean mature, as he walked off playing with the samurai. Mammalean shouts to Cush, Cush. He shouted back, ma'am? Mammalean shouts, keep on, what? With a big smile, he shouted back, keep on living, Mammalean. Keep on living. Mammalean smiled, as Valley stood there patiently, awaiting Mammalean's attention. It was a madhouse around here, but things are just now getting straightened out, Mammalean asked, what all has been done? Valley replied, the warriors came and helped us with so much. We have already sent wagons as far off north, to Lake Village, Aston, and Jenny, and as far south as Waterproof, St. Joseph, and Lake Bruin. By the way, they took Highway 4 near Winnsboro. Shicket, Eudora, Kilbourne, Newelton, and Winnsboro. The warriors have a plan for protecting each load themselves until they reach their destination, as you ordered. 4 cases of all meats, 2 cases of all fruits, herbs, and vegetables, and a case of essential and infused oils go to each location. Mammalean was proud of Vala's initiative. You are good for something, old man. Smiling, he said, you're the only one old around here. I saw you in Noah's yearbook right before the flood, looking like a peacock without feathers, you old hag. Both laughed, and Mammalean said, oh, okay. Vala continued, by the morning, the Tensas River shipment, which is the primary base, will be ready. All that's left is Terry, Oak Grove, and Delhi. I will go out in the morning with those orders. Mammalean said, what you going to do, old man, throw sticks at them? Bring your ass over here and organize these loads. I have a list of things for them and will send them on their way. When she got through with all the orders and requests, she didn't have much left, but the harvest was due in a week, so she whispered to herself as she was looking toward heaven, Sabaoth is able.